Today we're going to talk about water. There's been some requests on my YouTube to make a water discussion. Water is huge, okay? So if you're stuck in a desert, this guy from Chile was telling me that Chile. So if you're stuck in the desert and nobody has heard from you and you're missing, they look for you very hard for 2 days. They're going to look very hard. They're going to search high and low, try to find you as fast as possible. By the third day, they start taking their time because you'd probably be dead. So then they can just take their time because you're just looking for a body instead of a living person. Without food, most people can go 3 months. Not going to be a pleasant experience. Could cause some permanent damage. I've gone 3 days with no food whatsoever. I've gone 14 days on a modified fast. But in average conditions, you'd be lucky to make a week without water. Now, I've had a client who never drank water. So you're like, well, how did this guy live? If you can only live a week without water, how did this guy live without drinking any water? Well, there's water present in food. Meat is about 70% water. A very lean person, which is mostly muscle mass, which is what meat is also 70% water. A very overweight fat person is going to be as low as 50% water because body fat is actually mostly fat. That's why we call it body fat, where muscle has a much higher water content. So, might you be dehydrated? How would you know? Most people are dehydrated, meaning that they're not drinking as much water as would be optimal for them. Old research, and this is the interesting part for people that want to burn fat, which is like 98% of people listening to this video. Old research shows that when you're underhydrated, your rate of fat burning slows down. This is old research. The newer research was wondering, well, if someone is normally hydrated and we overhydrate them, will there be an additional increase in fat burning? And so they overhydrated healthy people, and they found that overhydration versus normal hydration, there was in fact an increase in fat burning. How do you burn fat in your body? It's not like you have a little furnace with a little flame somewhere burning fat. Fat is burned mostly in the process of thermogenesis, or fat is burned to make energy. Fat is a great source of energy, which is why I eat a lot of fat. And it tastes great. Oh my God. Olive oil, butter, ghee, beef fat, the skin on the turkey, but I digress. Sorry, fat is like my favorite topic. So don't overhydrate and hurt yourself. The most important electrolyte to have with water is sodium. So if you overhydrate too much, you could be dead. Water can kill you. Water has killed people that drink too much too fast. Up to 1 liter at one time is okay. If you're going to do more than 1 liter at one time, include some salt. So have some pretzels or olives, or take a little pinch of Celtic salt or Himalayan salt and throw it in there, which is what I do because I don't cook with salt. And in the morning, I'll sometimes drink 2 liters of water because I feel like it. And I'll add some salt so that I'm not pathologically overhydrating myself, because too much water without sodium is pathological. What kind of water? Golden question. There's all kinds of water to drink. I get glass jugs delivered to my house. So if I miss a glass jug, then I'm going to get an 18-liter reused plastic jug of spring water. So spring water, in my opinion, is the best water to drink. Spring water can be low mineral, oligo mineral, or high mineral. I go for the highest mineral content possible. Some people are saying that you should drink distilled water or reverse osmosis water because the minerals in the water are not organic and your body can only assimilate organic minerals. What really bothers me when people talk about health is when they ignore mountains of evidence and make something up, okay? Because we have mountains of evidence that having more minerals in your water will result in healthier people consuming that water. We have mountains of evidence, okay? Just to cite a little bit, we have epidemiological research, meaning research looking at large populations of people living in the United States, and we also have epidemiological evidence from the UK, looking at towns of tens of thousands of people compared to other towns. So Towns or little cities where people are consuming, the municipal water is low mineral, naturally low mineral. They have more heart disease and they die sooner than towns or little cities where they have a higher mineral content in their water. Okay, so there's no study that found anything different. It's always the same. More mineral content in the water, less heart disease, and you live longer. But then people, I was talking to one guy and I was trying to educate him that you need minerals in the water for health. It's good for you to consume minerals in your water. He's like, no, I have distilled water because have you seen the inside of a kettle? And I said, no, but you know what? I'm not a kettle. A kettle doesn't have a metabolism. A kettle is not a living thing. I'm not a kettle. Okay, so what you would do for a kettle is different than what you would do for a living organism. So, and I even add more minerals to my water. Where's this thing? Concentrates. Concentrates is from the salt flats of Utah, and from the salt flats of Utah, we have an ancient sea deposit, and that's what the salt flats is. A piece of the sea got pinched off, dried out, and we have the salt flats. So they remove about 99% of the sodium, and you get all the other minerals of the ancient sea. Awesome product. I put it in my water all the time to increase the mineral content. Now, if we don't look at the epidemiological evidence, which in my opinion is the strongest evidence, because it literally, if you pool it together, it's millions of subjects, okay? We have smaller evidences like the region or island of Japan called Okinawa. The Okinawans, especially the traditional ones, who were drinking water from, the rivers, the mountainside kind of rivers, that water was so, and is so, pardon me, mineral laden, that it's not even clear. It's like not even transparent. It looks like milk or something, or like cloudy. And it's ridiculously high in minerals, okay? And the Okinawans have traditionally been some of the healthiest, longest lived people in Japan and in the world. And then we have the Hunzakuts. So it's a region of Pakistan, the Hunzakat Valley, the Hunzakat people. They grow really good apricots there. Not kidding. And so they also have like a mineral milk, like a glacial water that they use for irrigation, and they drink it. And again, it has preposterously high levels of minerals. And it would make most hard spring waters pale in comparison. So what's the answer for the best water? Spring water. Hard spring water, meaning the highest mineral content you can find. Now, as far as plastic bottles of water go, they contain microplastics. And I saw this article that quantified the amount of microplastic particles in plastic bottled water. And all the plastic bottled waters had quite a bit of microplastics in it. And Nestle had, from what I could see in the numbers, it was just like a chart of numbers, and it was put in decreasing order of magnitude or amount. Nestle was number one. It had the most microplastics, and it was like 3 or more times more than all the other ones. So microplastics are a problem. When they feed microplastics to mice and then they kill them and then they dissect their liver and kidneys, they find that their liver and the kidneys are full of microplastics, because the liver and the kidneys are trying to filter your blood, and they get this microplastic stuff, and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna, I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna filter some more, and I'm not gonna metabolize this, because you can't really metabolize plastic unless, they found some fungi and I think bacteria that can do it, but we can't do it. So try to minimize the level of microplastics in your diet, and try to minimize the level of plastics in your diet for your own personal health and for the health of the planet. What the fuck? We're buying a half a liter of water in a plastic bottle that we're going to consume in 5 seconds, and that plastic bottle takes about 700 years to biodegrade. If I sound pissed off about it, it's because I am. Buying plastic bottled water is an environmental catastrophe. Stop doing it. Another thing you can do, if you don't want to buy any water whatsoever, you know what, I don't want to buy any water whatsoever. Okay, great, good for you. Get a water filter. And I realized that a water filter is often made out of plastic, you know, like a Brita or like the countertop things, and you take apart and you change those filters. But it's not a brand new plastic thing that you're consuming every time you want to have a liter of water. Like, those things make thousands of liters of water from one chunk of plastic. So we're trying to minimize, if we can't eliminate, the plastics out of our life. All right. Water filters, I haven't done much research on water filters. So if you're going to ask me what's the best water filter, you know, I heard Kangen. Kangen costs like a G note or more. There's Santivia, Mavea, Brita. I don't know which one is better or worse. Like, I just want to get pure spring water and be done, you know. I have also gone to like my cousin's homestead out in the countryside. He's got a well, and it's in a limestone high mineral area. So the spring water there, or the water from his well, tastes amazing. So I used to bring up my glass jugs. I mean, it's a ways to go, but hey, Armand, I miss you, man. But I would bring my glass jugs and fill them up and have like water for weeks. It was amazing. And Armand and I would work out, which was also cool. And being in the country is great. I mean, maybe one day I'll end up in the countryside outside of a mega metropolis. You never know. Any other questions about water, please put them in the comments, and I might just answer it right in the comments. Maybe I'll make another video. Earlier I talked about normal hydration, underhydration, dehydration, overhydration. Personally, I'm about 175 pounds, fairly active, and I drink about 3 liters of water a day. I would say for a man, about 3 liters of water a day is good. For a woman, 2.5 liters of water, just because they're smaller on average. You know, if you're a woman and you're 170 pounds lean, then go ahead, drink 3 liters of water and have no problem drinking more if you want. Like I say, there has been cases of people dying from water intake. One case I heard, this lady was drinking 8 liters of water a day. She probably wouldn't have died if she put sufficient salt in the water. If you're really, let's say, doing a hot yoga class, or you're working out in the heat and you're drinking 4 liters, 5 liters in a day, I would put like a good teaspoon of salt in there, like maybe a quarter of a teaspoon of salt in each liter of water, to get enough sodium, which is the most important electrolyte, I repeat, to control water. So water is controlled in your body by sodium. It's also controlled and regulated by potassium, magnesium, calcium, and all the other, or many other ions or charged particles, which are minerals in solution. And ions can also be something like a chloride, which is not a mineral. So let's say an ion is a charged atom or molecule that's charged in water. So if you take salt, salt doesn't have any charge, but if you put salt in water, then it dissociates into a sodium ion, which has given up an electron to the chloride ion, which has gained an extra electron, so now they're charged. Then when they come back together, then they're neutral again, which would happen when they crystallize, when you dry out the water. A little bit of a tangent there, but hopefully you have some more understanding about water now than you did at the beginning of this video, and thanks for watching.